Hi, I'm Kathy from Needle in a Haystack in Alameda, California. Today I wanted to talk to you about needle threaders. Most of us use them at one point or other, either in stitching or in doing sewing, and they can be a really useful tool to have in your needlework toolbox. There are three primary kinds. The one that's been around the longest, certainly that I know of, is the little wire threader. Now this is the thing that's primarily been used for, at least these days, we use it primarily for things like beading needles, sewing needles, really fine embroidery needles. It's good for really thin threads. It's good for needles with really small eyes. The next one is by a company called Muriel. This is a Muril Threader. This is, the hole in the center is so that you can actually put a thread through it, hang it onto your toolbox, hang it onto your scissors so you don't lose it. One end is for the smaller needles and then the larger end for bigger needles and bigger threads. Both of those are made from aluminum. Our favorite one is from Loran, L-O-R-A-N, and there'll be a link below for where to get the threaders from the shop. This is made out of steel, so if you put magnets on your needlework to hold your needles, this will actually hold to the magnet as well. So the small end is for really thin threads, really smaller needles, up to 28 tapestry needle, and the larger end for larger threads. Again, it has a hole in it so that you can actually hang it on to something. So what I wanted to do was show you a bit about how to actually thread the needles. So I'm going to rotate the camera so that you can actually see what they look like. So this is a number 18 tapestry needle. It's probably easier if I put it on the backing fabric so you can see it better. So what you want to do for this kind of needle is lay this like this. Is you want to be able to, so if you notice there's a hook and a ledge on this, and you want to use the ledge. So you want to stick this through the eye of the needle and hang it on the ledge. So it looks like that. And this way, what you can do then is actually take your thread and wrap it around the loop rather than trying to stick it through a hole. So now that I've got my needle on my threader, all I need to do is just take a small little bit, here we go, a small little bit of the thread. I only have about maybe an inch showing. I'm going to lift the needle up and I'm going to rock it and then pull it through, and I'll show that to you again. So put it through the needle. Here, let's see if I can get it a little bit closer. So put the hook through the needle, and you'll notice I put my finger behind it because that helps me be able to see it better. So I use that to sort of leverage it into position. I'm going to wrap a small amount of thread around it. I just need enough that it's not going to go flying. And then I'm going to lift it off the ledge, and notice that I'm rocking it. I rock it like this, not side to side, but up and down, and that helps me get it through. This is tapestry weight, Appleton's tapestry weight wool in a number 18 needle. And you can actually even get that into a number 22 because of the needle threader. So again, threader, ledge, wrap this around, lift it up, and then rock it through. And I'll do a little video at the end of just that motion of all of them so that it's easier to see in the right direction. So you do the same thing with pearl cotton, you do the same thing with embroidery floss or anything like that. So this is the best one that we have found for doing up to the largest of the tapestry needles and even to a 28. Now, if I'm doing it with a 28 tapestry needle, and I'm going to cut a little snippet of some floss here to show you. Now this is all 6 strands of floss. I'm going to take a couple of them out. I'll do a video on how to disassemble threads at a later date. So I've got just one strand, and normally you might just try to poke this in and have it, have a bit of a time trying to do that. So this is the small needle. This is the small end of the needle. Or the small end of the threader, sorry. So I'm going to take that, push that into, see if you can see that, push that into the needle, and then hang it on the ledge. And then I'm just going to wrap my thread around it which doesn't always want to cooperate. And I kind of finger press it into position because cotton in particular will kind of hold that shape, and then I'm not trying to fuss with it quite so much. And then the same thing, I'm going to lift it off the ledge slightly and then pull it through by rocking it. Now I could probably get 4 or 5 strands of floss through here using that kind of a threader. It's not small enough to go through the eye of a beading needle. So this is a number 10 beading needle. And as you can tell, it's really small. And so it's just not going to fit in there. This is the point where you want to use the wire threader. And the wire threader, if you'll notice, this part is collapsible. It sort of squishes a bit. So what you want to do is put this into the eye. And this is sometimes the hard part for people, is trying to get it into the eye. And you'll notice again, I use my finger as a sort of place to be able to put this. Put this in the eye, and then I can in fact actually hang this. Now this kind of threader, instead of wrapping it around something, you actually have to push the thread through it, which can also sometimes be a challenge if you're dealing with a really thick thread. So you just want to push this through that and then pull it through. One of the problems with the wire threaders is because they're very thin, and they have on the back of them what holds the wire in is this little tiny sort of overlay of aluminum that holds it in place. If you do this a lot and you don't hang on to that, if you pull it, you can actually pull the whole thing apart. One of the reasons why a lot of people don't like using the wire threaders. The threader that I happen to like the best for doing beading needles, and like I said, this is a number 10. It's a Bowen number 10 beading needle. This is from Puffin and Company. This is their micro threader, and as you can see, I'll put that next to the needle, it's very, very small. So same sort of thing as with the Loran one. It does help if my needle is in the correct orientation. So I'm going to lay this on my hand, my finger. I'm going to sort of rock the threader into place so that I can, and again, I can kind of hang it. I don't have to have it in very far. Wrap this around, and you want to pinch it a little bit, and then lift it up, and again, rock up and down to get it through. Now the trick with any of these kinds of ones with the hook end, like this one, is that because they are so small and they are a hook, if you rock the thing side to side when you pull it through, what will happen is, I'll show you, is that if you do that and you rock it side to side, you'll end up with the hook on one side of the needle and you won't be able to get it out. So you want to make sure that when you're rocking, you're doing an up and down motion, not a side to side one. But this is a great, so this is the Puffin micro needle threader. It's actually magnetic, which I'll show you, because this is the Loran threader, which is steel, so it will actually hold to it. So if you want to put this on your project, you can take the other end of the magnet, the other side of the magnet, and you can put it on your project like that. So you've got both your needle threader and your both kinds of needle threaders together, which is quite nice. Then what I wanted to show you is how to use the Muriel Threader. So this one is another one where you put the thread through the hole. So you're going to take the needle threader, you're going to push it through the needle. This is the big one. I've got my tapestry wool. Now I have to get my tapestry wool through the hole, which is one of the reasons why I like the Loran one better. Pinch it a bit, and again, the trick is don't just try to pull it, rock it up and down when you do it, and that will get things through. So this is the smaller end. This will also go through a number 28 tapestry needle, just barely, and it won't quite go all the way into the needle threader. It'll get it most of the way, so you can tell it gets it right to about there. Take your thread, poke it through the hole, pinch it a bit, and then pull it through and rock it if you have to do that to get it through. This one I don't like as well for a variety of reasons. One is because there's a lot longer area between where the hole is and where my needle is, I find that it's much harder for me to pull thicker threads through things. And so my preference is always the Muril Threader. They're not terribly expensive. There'll be a link below for where to get them from the shop, but they're a great tool to add to your collection. So if you don't have a needle threader and you're finding that you're having difficulty threading things, these are definitely options for you. So this is the Muril Threader, the traditional little tiny wire threader, the Muriel Threader. This is the micro needle threader from Puffin, and then Puffin also makes a regular needle threader. So this is the same size as this end of the Muril one, so this will go up to about a 28 tapestry needle. And those are great options to add to your toolbox. If you have any questions, just give us a call at the shop, and we'd be happy to help you. And there'll be, as I said, there'll be links below on where to order the threaders from us at the shop. Happy stitching.